Hello everybody and welcome back to Juno New Origins, where we have been working on getting ourselves a interplanetary vehicle here. And our primary issue is power generation when we get out far from Juno, right? And that isn't really solved by this design, but we've band-aided it a little bit and it should be slightly more efficient anyway. So let's go ahead and launch this craft, the Planet Visitor. This is going to be launched at the DSC Bay, and let's get this out there. That'll be absolutely fine. Okay, so we're going to, of course, set this over to about 70 degrees. We're going to throttle up, and we're going to engage these engines, and off we go. So this is going to be a little bit more in terms of the overall battery amount here. That's going to be useful. We're carrying less xenon now, but we're carrying more battery. And this should be fine, to be honest. We had too much xenon anyway, and this is going to be way cheaper to have the battery than the xenon. So that'll be useful for us for sure. And the solar panels, they are not going to be enough to power our engines, but the idea here is we should be able to get at least twice as much burn out of the engines per cycle around. And we should also be able, in theory, to recharge our batteries roughly 1.5 times more, I would guess. We have twice as many solar panels, but we have more battery capacity to go, so that'll take a little bit more time. But overall, that's going to be better. Again, this is a band-aid. This is not a solution. After we get one landing done, we might have enough to be able to upgrade our solar panels, which would be useful. No doubt about that. Our apoapsis is quite high here. Let's take this to 45 degrees. I've not been paying attention to that. We're just going to chill here. And how are we doing on these SRBs? Yeah, this is looking fine. So I want to bring this down. Actually, we're just going to keep burning here until the SRB detachment. So we're pretty high up on the apoapsis, but that's okay. Okay, these are not SRBs either. Booster detachment is what I mean to say. So we're going to take this right on over. We're going to burn this fuel pretty quickly, of course, and that's fine. We're going to build up our lateral velocity as much as we can and make our way out into vacuum. So we're in surface velocity mode right now. We might as well switch over into orbital. That'll be fine. We're going to only have so much DV left, and that's okay. The real question is, how much orbital velocity are we going to need to build up? We're 2.4 minutes away from apoapsis right now, and that's understood. The question is, once we go down in thrust to weight, is that going to be changing? We're at 150 kilometer apoapsis right now. I'm wondering if maybe we can just do it via maneuver. Let's keep an eye on this. So we're 2.3 minutes from apoapsis right now. Looks like we're definitely going to need to burn here. Okay, let's go ahead and extend our solar panels. Not that we're going to get very much out of them when when Juno is occluded by Drew like this. That's understood. We're definitely struggling with that orbital velocity, but now it's starting to go up. Okay, that's a good sign. We're going to have to continue to burn here for a while. We're 1.8 minutes from the apoapsis at this point, and we need to build up quite a lot of lateral speed here. So that is absolutely something we're going to be working on. Out of curiosity, how are we doing on this fuel over here? Yeah, it's going to require quite a lot more burn time. That's okay. So you can see this time to apoapsis ticking down at roughly 1 second per second. That's understood. My question is, do we have to take a different ascent profile? We might have to here. We didn't get as much lateral speed as we should have, but we did get a fair amount of vertical speed. And I was thinking that would probably build us up enough of a margin, but it may not have. Interesting. Like, I'm looking at our orbital velocity here. We have a long ways to go on that. No doubt about that. And we're at apoapsis, like, right now. That said, our orbital velocity is increasing. I'm just going to keep burning here. I'm curious to find out what happens. And yeah, we can see this is definitely, we're going down at this point. But we can do the second half of the burn over here. If we hit atmosphere, of course, this is just non-viable. But we are building up our orbital velocity quite a lot at this time. So that seems okay. Yeah, our orbital velocity is going up a pretty decent amount. But we're also starting to go down quite quickly. So there is that. Yeah, I think we need more horizontal speed. I just wasn't paying attention as we were lifting off. I was discussing our energy situation, and I clearly should have been paying attention. That is. But let's see if we're able to do this. We may need to nose up a little bit here, but I'm just watching our orbital velocity. Our current altitude is okay. We're not going to be in a circularized orbit, that's for sure. Whoa! What's going on here? What are our solar panels doing? You guys okay over there? They're alive. I don't know what's up with that. That's very strange. So our apoapsis is currently like 200 kilometers. We need to burn like this way a little bit. So this is currently a radial burn. We're currently shifting around our orbit, but we're basically at orbital velocity here. I want to put us at like 70. And you can see we're bringing down our apoapsis here. But we're very, very close to orbital velocity. Let's go ahead and burn prograde for the moment. Because we're basically at orbital velocity right now. Yeah, that's a little spicy. In fact, that's a lot spicy. It was a really awkward ascent profile, for sure. But we are pushing this out at this point. Okay, so now I want to move us over to a radial. Radial out. Yeah, radial out seems correct. So I'm just putting us here for the moment. This is not an efficient way to do this, but this is mostly to prove that we could get into orbit with that ascent profile. I think we can do it. It's going to be close. It's going to be real close. But I want to try this again as soon as we're done with this. So that's 70 kilometers there, but we need it to get up to 80, right? So it's going to be dicey. But there we go. That is officially in orbit. Not a good orbit, and I want to try that again. Actually paying attention this time. But yeah, that seems fine. Okay, so I want to immediately fire up these engines, put us at 70 degrees. There we go. And up to 2x. Let's actually pay attention to our ascent trajectory this time. That would be useful. Okay, so we're going to be holding here at 70 until an apoapsis of 20 kilometers, as per usual. But yeah, that was not an efficient way to get into orbit, that's for sure. But we did manage to do it, remarkably. So this is 20 kilometers. I'm now bringing us over to 45 degrees. We're at 30 kilometers. How are we doing out over here? We're doing okay. We're at 50 kilometers. I'm going to drop us down at this point to a 15-degree pitch. SRBs, or not SRBs, booster stages are going to be off now. There we go. And we're just going to continue to burn here. We're at up over 80 kilometers, so let's burn straight this direction. This might be a little overzealous on the lateral velocity, but we'll see. This is definitely overzealous on the lateral velocity. Let's put this up to 15 degrees, and let's push that apoapsis right on out. Okay, So now we're lighting this up, and you can see that apoapsis still going up, but time to apoapsis going down. It's a little overzealous there. Let's put this at 45 for right now, and we're going to be counteracting some of this gravity for the moment. You can see time to apoapsis is going down, but it's not going down at 1 second per second. So we're going to burn here for the time being, looking to build up mostly lateral speed. This time I went a little too heavy on the lateral velocity, but it seems relatively okay for now. So let's go into orbital mode, and we can see we're definitely building that up a little bit more nicely at this point. Time to apoapsis still coming down, but that should be flipping around fairly soon. We've still got a minute to apoapsis, so I'm really not too concerned about that. Yeah, this is slowing down. Excellent. So we're going to start pushing that up soon, which means we're going to be able to go lateral very shortly. We're down to 47 seconds. 46. 45. It is slowing, and our orbital velocity is increasing. We do have low thrust to weight in this stage. No doubt about that. But we just need to get our speed up enough. Look at that. It's still going down, but it's going down very slowly. 42 seconds. Holding. Still holding. Still holding. 43. Beautiful. I'm going to drop us down to 30 degrees. Holding at 43. 42. It's going down. That's what we want to see right now. Holding at 42. Now it's at 43, dropping to 15 degrees. Going down. Still going down. This is perfect. 38 seconds. 37. And holding at 37. We're going to be dropping to 0 shortly. Going up. Dropping it to 0. And we should probably extend our solar panels. There we go. We'll see if they start gyrating again. Oh, there they go. I don't know what's up with that. Maybe it's something weird with them clipping. But these ones aren't doing it. So I don't have an explanation for that one. Okay, even at 0, time to apoapsis is increasing. So at this point, I'm going to burn us up to about... I don't know. We're going to be in orbit very shortly here. We are currently in orbit, so that looks absolutely fine. Looks like they stopped gyrating, so that's good. And let's burn this up to an apoapsis of like 500. That's not going to be too much more fuel. So that is 400 kilometers there. And a little over 500. That was 507. That seems fine. So once we get here... What? One of our solar arrays just exploded from excessive damage. So I think that what's happening here is the clip together here is causing issues. I'm 95% sure that that's what's going on. So if that's the case, then I want to adjust these and have them not be quite as wide, right? So in this case, what I would like it to be is... Okay, that's the number of rows. This is the row size. So I'd like this to have longer array... Well, that's the array length. I'd like it to have longer rows. And then a row size of, like, 2 in theory, but... Interesting. So, yeah, I didn't expect that to cause actual issues there. There is, however, something we can do about it. And what that thing is we can take this down to 2, and we can have the row size be back up to 3 like this. Now I'm going to duplicate these, and I'm going to put another set down here at... Let's see, this is at 90, so this should be at, like... What angle should this be at? It should be at This out over here is 225-ish. What angle is this at? 45. Okay. So this is at 225, which means that this should be at 315. Gotcha. So right about there, and then we can put in 2 of them like this. So that's radial X2, like that. Okay, so this is going to be slightly different, but like the mass is going to be exactly the same. The exact generation is going to be exactly the same. The real difference here is just that they shouldn't clip together anymore, and I'm 95% certain that clipping together was the issue. I'm going to put these a little bit better spaced, about like that. Okay, so something along those lines. I don't feel like this is actually where it should be, though. I feel like it should be there to be a little bit better centered with these legs. Maybe the legs are off. The legs are off. Okay, so this one should be at 115, right? No, 135 is where it should be. Okay, so something like that. Let's try this one more time. Surely we're going to be done with issues with this craft soon, right? Surely. Okay, so we're loaded in here, and let's put this over at 70 degrees. This didn't... Wait, what? Oh, I didn't throttle it up. I'm dumb. We're going to retry that. I was like, why didn't it fire with the staging? Yeah, it didn't start with the throttle on. So we're going to put this over at 70 degrees and 2x speed. There we go. And hopefully this time we're going to be a little less overzealous with the horizontal speed. Because we definitely burned a little bit more vertical than we needed to there. There's no doubt about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have this be held here until 20 as before. And then we're going to move it over to 45. There we go. Let's move this right on over. Cool. And we're at 30. We're now at 40. I'm going to hold here until we're at 80, I think. So this is 70 and 80. I'm now dropping us to 30 and getting rid of those side tanks. Perfect. So we're holding at 30 here for right now, and time to apoapsis is currently increasing, but I'm going to hold at 30 until we're at an apoapsis of 150, at which point I'm going to drop us down to 15. There we go. So we're going to sit somewhere around here, and we're going to hold at 15 until our apoapsis is 500. So let's just do something like that. We can extend these solar panels at this time. And hopefully now they're not going to explode due to nothing. That would be ideal. So we're just going to hold them here, and you can see apoapsis going up reasonably nicely. Time to apoapsis is going down at this time, so that is absolutely understood. We've got a lot of orbital speed to make up yet, which is expected. That is 100% what we want to see here. So our apoapsis is currently chilling at around 200, and you can see it's going up reasonably quickly. Time to apoapsis still going down here, but that should not be a situation for too much longer. Just based on how quickly that apoapsis is increasing. So we're mostly getting lateral velocity at this time, and you can see our vertical velocity is dropping, which is completely and totally expected. Lateral velocity is going to become vertical velocity eventually. Okay, so we're just continuing to work up that orbital velocity. We are currently up to 2,400 meters per second, with an apoapsis of 215 kilometers. I definitely want to keep bringing that right on up. Time to apoapsis still dropping at this time. But we're now crossing the 2,500 meter per second threshold, and we've got lots of time before we hit the apoapsis still. Lots and lots of time. 90 seconds as of right now. So that's looking good, and I don't think those are real seconds either. I think that that's starting to slow down. Yeah, this is definitely slowing down. We're holding at 90 right now. Now it's going back up. So I'm going to drop us down to a pitch of 0, and we're going to get purely lateral velocity at this time. So now our apoapsis is sitting at 230, and you can see time to apoapsis is dropping again, but we're nearly to orbital velocity at this point, and I just want to burn us up to about 500 kilometers again. Sun is coming up, so we should be seeing our battery start to charge, although I don't think it's going to be net positive anytime soon. So this is all looking good right now. Time to apoapsis is increasing. That is a very good sign. How are we doing on our fuel? Looking good. And we can see that this guy out over here, not very efficient right now, but that's not shocking. These ones, they're doing okay. They're generating a few kilowatts. In fact, all of these are generating an okay amount of kilowatts. How's this battery doing? Is that going up or down? It's just kind of holding for right now. 1684 kilowatt hours. I think it just went down. That's fine. So we're just about to our apoapsis target. In fact, a little further than this. I'm just very gently burning. There we go. That's 500. Looks great. At this time, we're going to want to come around to the apoapsis, which is all the way around over here. We are in orbit at this time, but I do want to circularize this on up, so that's going to be something along the lines of that. 126 meters per second to circularize. I like it. So we're going to need to keep an eye on these fuel tanks as we do our escape burn, but they're probably going to be able to power us for most of that burn, would be my guess. Or at least a significant portion of it. And hopefully we'll be able to line it up so that that's a transfer burn over to Atraitus as well. Okay, so something like that. And then a planned burn somewhere around here. And this is, of course, going to be a very hefty burn to escape. That's 1.3 kilometers per second there. And I do want Atraitus to be our target. There we go. And then we can back off a bit on... Actually, we can push this up over here a bit. Ooh. 285 megameters? That seems quasi-okay. This is such a big world. No doubt about that. The closer in we go, the less braking burn we're going to need to make it into orbit, but also the more we're going to need for circularization. So that's definitely a bit of a concern. I think I'll target around 500 megameters again. So that would be somewhere around, that's 300, 400, and a little further than this. Cool. Something about like that. We're going to be at a bit of an inclination. That's fine-ish. Okay, so this is going to be 1.32 kilometers per second. We're definitely going to be able to get that done on our Wyvern engine. That looks good. Go ahead and execute that. So we're going to light up that burn right about now. And I'm going to put us in 2x. That's going to be a 4-minute burn. We're going to need to keep an eye on these tanks. We're going to drop them as soon as they are dry. For now, we've still got quite a lot of fuel that we can get out of them. So that looks excellent. So it's at 20% now. And our burn here is at about 20%. I think we might be able to get this burn certainly over half. Certainly over half. So we're 30% through. We've got 15% left. So it's about 2 to 1. Okay, yeah, we're going to get over half. That's for sure. So that seems fine for now. Let's just continue to execute this. We might end up doing a bit of a corrective burn on the way over, but probably not, to be honest. We're at 8% fuel here, 7%, and how are we doing on that burn? Oh yeah, we're definitely going to be well over half on that. So, 4, 3, 2, 1, and let's get rid of these drop tanks now. Off they go. And that's going to boost up our thrust to weight, of course, and we've got over 1 kilometer per second in this now, but we only need about 200 meters per second for this transfer. So that's looking solid. And again, this is only a band-aid. This is not going to properly solve the issue. To properly solve the issue, we're going to need tech. So that's fine. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we're going to run this approach. We're going to get ourselves into orbit. We're probably going to burn out all of this fuel trying to lower our apoapsis. And then we're going to have to take a bunch of passes. But the passes should be longer burns, which will result in fewer total passes. And we should recharge quicker with this solar array. So we definitely want to improve that, but we don't have the tech at this time. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALVS Gamer, Andy McGard, Dark Horse, Xenocyte, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.